Hey, girl.
Hi.
Been a minute.
Yeah, it's been... Well, we tried to go live last night, and that was, like, the biggest failure of...
Yeah.
If you're one of the 3 people that tuned into us for more than 10 seconds, thanks, I guess.
And sorry.
Also sorry.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
But anyway, we're back.
We were like, we have no plan, let's go live. And evidently, I think you need a plan to go live on Instagram. But
I mean, it was fun to talk to Lucy and, like, FaceTime, but we needed to probably do that offline, which we did after.
Mom didn't even watch. I was like, oh, we're going live on Instagram. And she was like, what is that? Like, I actually don't know if
she would love Instagram Live.
I almost don't want to tell her about it.
Please don't. She'll go on and, like, rant. Love you, Mom. Anyway, I guess that's a good segue, because the topic we wanted to sort of talk about today is just the roles that exist in our family and sort of, I guess, highlighting the role of, like, parent and child and how that evolves and develops not only as you age, but also as, I guess, for lack of a better word, shit gets thrown at you.
Yeah, when you're faced with different types of situations. I think, like, something that we've been thinking about a lot just in navigating the ups and downs of this whole experience is, okay, how are we as supportive as we can be for each other, for our mom, for our dad, and for ourselves? And all 4 of those things, I think, present very differently and take a completely different skill set. It's like, okay, if you're having a bad day and I'm trying to help you cope, like, what I'm going to say to you and how I'm going to help coach you through that is way different than how I would talk to myself, or different than how I guess, like, I would interact with mom. And it's just made us sort of reflect on the nuance of parent-child relationships, sibling relationships. And it's also, at least for me, and I think you feel the same, made me so grateful for the amazing relationships that we do have with each other, with our other sister, with mom and dad. And,
like, the foundation of those relationships, because I do think another thing that I've actually sort of been thinking about more recently is, like you were saying, like, there's a way to, all we want to do is be there for each other and be there for what?
You found your bracelet.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
All we want to do is be there for each other. There's also, like, I like how you said being there for yourself too, because I do think that sometimes being there for yourself involves setting a boundary and not being there for someone 24/7. And, like, that sounds wrong, but I was just speaking about this actually in therapy, but I was saying how, like, I want to just be there for everyone all the time, but sometimes, like, that's just too much. And that's fair. That's with any relationship. That's not just highlighting this situation, but I think it has recently for me.
Yeah. I also think, like, trying to be there for everyone is sometimes a deflection of, like, not actually being able to, like, be there for yourself.
Oh my God.
Like, when I'm in my darkest moment, I'm like, oh, who needs help? Like, how can I help? It's just not.
But even, like, the way that I speak to, like, the way that I would comfort you or comfort Lucy or comfort dad or mom is entirely different.
Totally.
So I think, like, all of us sort of have different relationships with one another, with certain groups of the family, with the family overall. Like, I think we're lucky to be very, very close, but, like, our relationships are all, I think they're all, like, kind of different.
Yeah, I think they're different. And I think sometimes, like, when you're faced with such a big emotional thing going on, like, sometimes, like, I just, as an example that I think sort of led us to wanting to talk about this, like, I think right now it's a harder time than it's been. Like we've said on a couple of the other episodes, our dad has, for separate reasons from brain cancer, has not been able to walk hardly at all, just due to some compressed discs.
Very bad back pain.
Yeah, really bad back pain. And that we're figuring out hopefully soon. But I think it's been harder, and I think it has been harder, and it's been specifically hard, I think, on our mom. Totally. So it's how we're towing the line of being helpful, being there for her, versus also needing to be like, hey, I actually can't be your best friend right now because this is hard for me to hear, or things like that.
Yeah, because I want to be there and listen to you as a friend, but also, like, this is still my dad we're talking about, and sometimes I can't separate it fully. Well, sometimes I can, but not all the time.
Right. And I think at the same time, like, sometimes if she's having a bad day or if there's so much going on, she's like, I mean, we're her, like, closest people. So I think she wants to reach out to us or to Lucy and, like, have a conversation and be like, hey, this is happening. But I found myself the other day being like, okay, I'm like, because she called me candidly and we talked about this and was like, I think Haley's upset with me. And I was like, well,
she knows me so freaking well. It's like insane. I didn't say anything.
You're not like that hard to read.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, granted, I definitely wear my emotions on my sleeve.
You
but
literally said to me, you were like, I'm being mean, so I think she thinks that I'm mad.
I wasn't being mean. I was being short.
Yeah, well, yeah, short.
Short.
But I was like, I don't think she's mad at you. I think that sometimes with some of the, and I asked her, I said, are you open to feedback? And of course, she's like, yeah, of course I am. I'm like, great, perfect, take a seat. But I said, I was like,
feedback.
I know we're really turning into like therapy sessions all the time. But I said, sometimes I think that you need to unload, and I would encourage you to, before you do that, just think about, okay, the person who I'm talking to in this situation, like they're also going through it and it feels different from what I'm going through. Like I want her to call me all day and be like, I had such a shit day. The dog had diarrhea, blah, 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 blah.
That did happen.
She does all the time. But sometimes when she's like, it's so hard, dad can't walk. He's like, sometimes it's just harder to hear. And it's not even like, there's moments where I'm like, absolutely lay it on me. Let me know how I can help. And then there's other moments if like something's like I'm having a bad day, something's setting me off, that I just can't hear it. So
it's like with anything, like sometimes like something random will set me off because I'm having a bad day, or set you off because you're having a bad day. But like sometimes I'm like the superwoman of the family and can help everyone and like perfectly. Like it ebbs and flows as everything freaking does.
Exactly. And it's different all the time. Like so much ebbing and so much flowing. But like with my husband, with Will, I can be like, he can bring something up and I'll be like, I don't want to talk about that right now. And like, that's okay. And like, if he's like, no, I really do, then it can be a conversation. But I do because of all that mom's doing and because of the superwoman that she's being. I don't always feel like I don't want to say, hey, I can't hear that right now. Like it's harder. It's harder. So I was sort of just like, in the same way that I'm thinking about how I'm interacting with you versus how I'm interacting with Haley versus how I'm interacting with Lucy, etc. Like, sometimes when you're really, really in the thick of it, you need to take a beat and be like, okay, this is what's going on. And like, this can be my outlet right now. And it's not always like, depending on what the problem is, it's not always going to be relayed the same way to us as like she would talk to a friend. Or does this make sense?
It does. But I was thinking,
and it's certainly not like a knockout. Like I'm happy that we can have that open conversation with her too.
Well, I think we're very lucky to have that, because I don't think that mother-daughter dynamic is very common.
No, we're so lucky. The fact that I can even be like, hey, are you open to feedback? Like,
no,
like,
but it's also saying something like, even though it is like that, like I didn't say that. I just was like, okay.
Well, right. Well, we're different too.
But I think that it is something that like, it's hard. Like I don't want to ever like, she's in such a different, objectively harder position to be in.
Yeah.
But it's like hard to compare it, and it's hard to be like,
right.
It's hard for me to push down everything else all the time.
Yeah.
To be there when like I can do that sometimes, but not every day. And it's also hard to be like, oh, you can't say X, Y, and Z, because like we're saying, it's not the content, it's like the vibe, like it's how I'm feeling. It's the
and I also certainly totally, and I certainly don't want to give off the vibe that like she's putting a lot on us, because that's actually not the case at all. Like, I think she could put so much more on us, and some days I'm like, please do. It's just being able to have the conversation of, I'm in a space to be able to hear this right now. I'm not in a space to be able to hear this right now. How can I help you find another outlet if it can't be me? It's that sort of. I think we're using her as an example because that was present, that happened. But I think that that's something that like, it's all of us.
And
I do it with you. So like
all of us. Yeah. And I just think it's interesting to highlight the parent-child dynamic, because like, I don't know, that's something I said even like in one of the earliest podcasts, but just like how even just like growing up, and granted, this is probably something I've experienced more recently because I'm younger than you, newsflash. But like even graduating college and like many moons ago and all of those things, like I just like a couple moons ago,
regular Egypt,
a couple moons ago, it's interesting to see how your relationship with parents develops. Like I have always been so like, I don't want to say blessed, but like so lucky to have an amazing relationship with mom and dad. Obviously, like there was the period in middle school where like I like would scream like F you at mom, which is awful, and like I can't.
Did you seriously do that? I never did that. Sure. I literally never did that. Okay. I never said I hate you. I said I never did.
Okay, them. I didn't either, but I obviously said that mom.
You're evil.
I know, but it was like a thing to hate your mom in middle school. Like I don't know.
Not for me.
Okay, well that back then, more recently it was. Anyway, like. Obviously, like, take all of those blips aside, like, we have an amazing relationship. Like, I think we got really close, like when it was just me and them living together.
Yeah.
But it was still always like parent-child. Like we were friends and like we'd banter and like their boundaries would be crossed because I was the youngest and like I'd tell them stuff that like I wouldn't probably tell my parents, but like we were very open. But I wouldn't say it was not up until recently, like when it felt more like mutualistic and less of like, oh, but you're still taking care of me, you're ahead of me. Do you know what I mean?
Mutualistic?
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Yeah, mutualistic relationship.
Okay, maybe.
Yes, like it's it's like the thing on the tree, the algae.
Symbiotic.
No,
I don't think.
Mutualistic.
All right, sure.
Wait, is
well,
it not?
We can look that up later.
Yes, it's in the category of symbiotic, but it's like mutualistic is like the
okay,
shit.
sure. You might be right. I don't know.
Is this another Rhodes
like
PR situation?
Bio girl, I don't fucking know. But yeah, no, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, like my relationship with them is different. I think it was a lot more parent-child for a much longer time. And then all of a sudden, when you grew up, I remember coming home from college and being like, oh, we like swear and drink now. This is sick. Like,
yeah, I guess that happened earlier for me.
Well, totally happened earlier for you because they were also like, all right, we're like, enough is enough. Because when I remember I turned 13 and at that point Lucy was 11 and you were what, like 7 or something? I turned 13 and mom was like, we really can't be watching PG movies in the house. Like your sisters are scared. And I was like, I can legally watch PG-13 movies and my friends with older siblings are watching R-rated movies. Like I can't watch Harry Potter because Lucy thinks that Voldemort's in the toilet. Like that's not my problem. That was not my problem.
But I will say they were weirdly strict about movies.
Well, they did. Well, I do think that's why we're creative though. Like they never wanted us to watch TV. Which is funny because Dad was always like, "Oh, work in TV," and now we do. But like, they never wanted us to watch TV. We were always like fucking around. We were not allowed to watch.
But we played so many video games. But I guess
later, that was later too. Like I played
early
with felt.
For me.
Right.
I felt it.
I played with so much felt. Dad would like cut out outfits on my felt mice. Like I had these mice. It was like princesses on the felt board. Felt kids.
Felt creative name.
Yeah. I had all the princesses. But I like really wanted mice. I like needed felt mice or something. I don't know. Maybe I was in a Nutcracker vibe with like
Probably.
the Mouse King. I don't know. But I needed the mice, but the mice didn't have outfits because like, why would they have outfits? I don't even think that the mice came with the box, but I needed that.
They didn't.
So Dad would wake up like so early on Saturday and Sunday mornings and like cut out like mice and like mouse outfits, and I was like, yes, this is great.
What is a mouse outfit?
Like they needed clothes.
Oh, they couldn't be naked.
That would be insane.
Insane.
What are you, an animal?
Sorry. They are.
They had to cover up. Oh my God. How did we get here? Oh yeah. Just like the difference, like them being strict.
Yes.
I think like meeting, I don't know, even our other friends' parents in high school versus our friends' parents in college. It's just those dynamics are so interesting. Like, no, we weren't allowed to watch SpongeBob, but like when I was a senior in high school, like I think I was having glasses of wine with mom and dad at dinner. Like they were trying to prepare me for college. They didn't buy me alcohol on my way to college and they hooked you up with like a ton of handles. It's like, it's just, and the oldest to youngest child relationships different.
And that I feel like is universal, like oldest to youngest.
Totally.
But it's like, it's interesting because I definitely had that more like friendship situation with them when I was in high school. And then I think that persisted in just like comfortability with each other. But I will say like, seeing how our relationship has evolved now, I think it was like me comfortable with them, but they were still like acting as parents. Like they accepted what I was saying, but it's not like I was getting an insight to like their tea or their like troubles. And I think that only happens when like you see your parent vulnerable or you're going through something and it's like, oh shit. And like I saw a little bit of it when it was like in college before all of this happened and it was more just like, oh, I'm an adult now. And mom would be like, oh, like this is bothering me about like a real thing, like something that you would say to me or a friend would say to me. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean you don't have all the answers?
Right.
And I think
it's like, you have problems.
Yes.
Like, that's insane.
And I think that just like, that's such a weird realization and such a weird like role reversal or not reversal, but just like role evening out, I guess.
Yeah.
And then when you're faced with something as like crazy and awful and unexpected as our whole family was, it puts that to a whole nother level. You see the person that you have always grown up in my eyes, at least, being like the strongest, most amazing, like,
well, they're the problem solvers. Like we bring the problems and they fix them and solve them and make everything okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you were trying to get at is like this idea of having the problem solvers be faced with a problem that is unsolvable, and it's not funny, but it's just laughable because what the fuck, and also to see it actually happening, like. Yes, like dad didn't lose too much of his hair and stuff. Like we didn't really see him like sick, But I think now with like his struggling to walk, even though that's completely separate from cancer, because this man can't catch a motherfucking break.
Literally can't catch a
like
break.
that's harder to see. And it's I think it's also just hard to not even like the physical things, but just like I know that is sad for him because he doesn't like want that. So it's just hard to see. Like for me, I think it's harder on for both of them just to see like to know that your parents are like emotional and like are real people.
And
like,
vulnerable. No,
vulnerable is more what I was thinking than emotional, yes.
No, but and that's the whole, it's like, all right, seeing dad not be able to do the basic things that he usually can do, and then seeing mom just like not be okay. I mean, none of us are okay.
No.
And it is jarring, but it also makes me feel, as you were saying, it makes me extra grateful for the relationships that we have with them.
Totally.
So that mom is comfortable coming to us and being like, hey, I had a terrible day. Can I talk to you about it?
And like, how special is that she can lean on us? And like,
or for dad to be so open with us about what's going on too. Like, I think we hear it a lot, and we've like witnessed it a bunch of like parents hiding things so that their kids don't see them at their worst moments. Like we've now both recently, and Lucy will be back this coming weekend, as will both of us. But like, we've both been at home without mom when it's like just us and dad, and like he wants to do everything because all he's ever wanted is to do everything for us.
And that's all
like that's been his vibe forever.
Mm-hmm.
So for us to like, we make him breakfast and then we bring it up to him. It's like his least fucking favorite thing ever to have us waiting on him because he's like, what is wrong with this picture? And all he wants to do is do stuff for us. And there is a big, big, big part of me. Obviously, I'm not happy about any of this situation, but to be able to care for him and to be there for him, like, there is a part of me that's like, okay, you did this for me for 30 years. Like, please let me return the favor. Mm-hmm. Like, please.
It's definitely easier in our position to do that.
Yeah. Oh my God. No.
And granted, also, like, we did it both for like a week, like, versus.
Oh my God. I literally did it for 3 days. But it is, and it's not fun for him to have us being there for him, but it does. But no, of course I don't mind it. And I want to be there and I want to help him. It does, like, I mean, I actually hate this and he's going to hate this. But I was thinking about, the like little children's book, the poem, the like, I'll love you forever, I'll love you for always, as long as you're living. And it goes through the, like, he's cradling the little baby at the beginning, and then at the end, it's the child who's, I know, it makes me like,
it's like nice.
It's like actually not okay. But it's sort of just that circle of life, and we're not in that situation right now. We're going to be at a point. So it's, I don't know, I think accepting that and then looking at it with more of a positive light of, okay, we have such an amazing relationship even when the roles are reversed. Like, our dynamic stays the same and like the relationship stays the same. It's just the interaction might change, but we're like, it's such a solid, amazing relationship that we have, both with mom, both with dad, and with all three of us. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's amazing.
It's like an amount of respect that's like back and forth. And
I think that's exactly right.
There's respect. Yes. It's like, obviously there's this whole dynamic or like of like respecting your elders, but I do think that like something that like, I know that mom and dad value you, me and Lucy, and respect us as like individual people. Like, they have value in us, not just like because they have to. And I think that's so special. And that's something that like, I think really helps all of us like be people.
Yeah. I mean, that's what employed us to feel like we could go off and do whatever we wanted to do, because they're like, you guys are amazing. And they're not just saying like, oh, you're great because you're our kids. They're like, we genuinely think you guys are great and you guys can do whatever you want to do. And that, like, again, it stems from respect. It stems from just unconditional love. And to have that and to have such a solid relationship, like, God, if all of this ended tomorrow, and dad says this all the time, and knock on wood, I don't want that to be the case, but like, if I don't have wood.
I do. For you.
God. If all of this like went to dust tomorrow, like,
he always says dust.
If all this went to dust tomorrow, like, I wouldn't change anything about our relationship with either of them. No. And how special is that?
It's special and it's rare, and it is something that I think something that I think I need to personally like think about and remind myself more often.
Yes, but it's also it is annoying to be in this situation that epically sucks, and then be like, oh, well, I'm really grateful for, like, sometimes you just can't do that, and that's okay too. Like, we know this. We're not sitting through life forgetting how, like, because we have such a special relationship with them, and specifically dad, like, that's what makes this hard.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, and it would be hard in any regard and for different reasons and for whatever.
No, it doesn't make it all better just because, like, we get along.
No, exactly. Exactly. Just because we wouldn't do anything different.
It makes it feel more unfair.
We've had a great run. We've had a great run. We've had an amazing run. I don't want it to be over.
No.
At all.
It's also interesting. I have a few things that came to mind when you were speaking, but, like...
Great.
Well, I was listening, but also came to mind. But just, like, this idea of, like, the circle of life and, like, that book you were saying... Like, obviously, like, you always know that's in the future, but I think at, like, the age of 24, I don't think I was expecting that. And not that we're having it right now, but...
Dad wasn't expecting it when his parents were in their mid to late 80s.
No, and it's, like something that you know is there, but you never, I don't think you can ever be fully prepared for it.
Why would you think about it? I used to think about it in my nightmares.
Yeah. No, same.
I still do, and then I'm like, oh, right, it's real.
Yeah, it blows.
Yeah, it blows.
But... It's interesting, and I also just, like, another thing I was thinking of just, like, when I was talking about the silver linings and all that stuff, like, I think it's interesting to see, going back to, like, the different rules we all have in our family and, like, how we interact with one another, how all of us cope differently, too. And I think if you had told me, like, before that I would, like, take the positive route, I'd be like, no fucking shot.
Do you feel like you take the positive route?
I think I do.
No,
do you not?
I'm messing with you. You absolutely
I think I do, like, to a fault.
I actually think, I'm just going to give all of us a little bit of credit. I think we're all handling this, like, really well.
We are. No, but it's just we're handling it differently, but really
because if you had told me, like, 2 years ago and been like, oh, this is going to happen to you, I would have been like, oh, sick. I'm going to quit my job, lock myself in a room and, like, cry and, like, never do anything again. Like, you can't do that. Like, it's insulting, I think, to the person who's going through the terminal illness to give up. Like, they don't have an option. We do. We have an option to give up or not. Mm-hmm. And, like, I think giving up, like, what does that show Dad? Yeah. Like, all he wants us to do is, like, live our lives and carry on and be happy. And it's so hard to do that. And it's going to be really fucking hard to do that. But that said, like, it's funny to think about, funny's not the right word. It's interesting to think about, like, how I thought I would have approached the situation versus how we're approaching it.
Yes. Like, I would have, because...
Granted, I don't feel like we have an option other than what we're doing.
No, we don't.
I mean, obviously, we have an option to not, like, live cast all of our shit. But, like, that said...
Do we?
Absolutely. I don't think anyone asked for this.
No one asked for it.
Nobody asked for this. That's what you got. But yeah, like, does that make sense?
No, I think I totally agree. Like, I am shocked at how all of us are handling it, but in a positive way. Like, I'm like pleasantly shocked.
No, it's us. And like, Lucy is handling it. Like, she's been calling us like, hey, are you guys okay? Can I help? I'm like, the fuck? Like,
yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, no.
I'm so excited to all be together. I think that'll be really great.
Yeah. So basically all of us are going to be together for Father's Day, which is really fun. We'll definitely do a lot of content, or hopefully. We always say that. And then, like, we end up
get ready.
recording one 15-minute episode and we're like, dirt.
Well, because we like to just...
But we all haven't been together. When we were talking to Lucy the other night, we haven't all been together since January.
Yeah, which is insane.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
But also, like, even, like, the East Coast people haven't been together in a while either.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I haven't seen Will in a bit. I haven't seen Mom and Dad in over a month, so...
Yeah. No, it's well needed, it's well timed, and I'm really excited for just being back and being home and being together. Like, the togetherness is... I look forward to it so much.
I know, I feel like I've been craving it too, you know, when, like, like, I just can't wait to, like, melt into the couch and just... I'm so ready.
I really want to be home.
And, like, all of us will be crazy. Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, it will. We're full house.
Oh, I thought you were saying, like, we're all gonna be nuts.
Like, crackhead, like, no. I'm saying, like...
No, it's gonna be full fucking house.
It's gonna feel like the holidays.
Yeah, we have fun sleeping arrangements.
We do. Should we explain them?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so... did you explain surgery?
No, we didn't talk about surgery. Oh. We can talk about it.
Okay, sure. So...
Right? Let's talk about it.
We can cut it if you want.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, basically, Emma was talking a bit about the back pain that our dad is undergoing, unfortunately, because this man can't catch a break. And this is, like, it's slipped discs, horrible pain, like, shooting down his leg, awful, impacting walking, and basically just quality of life right now. And so he's had, like, some of those shots in his back, like the cortisone shots, shooting in steroids to try to help the pain. They haven't been super successful, unfortunately. So he met recently with a back surgeon, and it's sort of looking like that's our next step. So he's scheduled to have some back surgery on this coming week. Thankfully, I'll be home for it, and then all of us will be home that weekend to hang, which will be nice. In general, we were all going to be home anyway, but basically this surgery, the reason why we say this is because of this surgery, when we're all going to be home for that weekend right after, we're going to put our dad, in the lower level of the townhouse. So in Boston, we have like this like skinny little home, and there's a lower level, a main level, another level, and another level, right?
5. Yeah, the LL, the
1,
kitchen,
2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So LL, I always mix up the numbers. LL is where my dad will be. Normally, he and my mom sleep on 4. That's just their bedroom.
Yeah.
But he's going to be in the LL because it's just like, why are we making the guy who just had back surgery climb up 4 flights of stairs, right? So he's going to be in the LL, but the LL is usually lower level. Is
Lucy
usually
level.
The Lucy level.
Lucy is
so
LL.
when Lucy's here, she's going to be in the room that Emma and Will normally sleep in. Emma and Will are going to sleep in my room, and I'm apparently sleeping in my mom's room, which is my mom and dad's room. I don't know why I think my mom wants a buddy. That's why I'm sleeping there, but maybe I'll go back and forth with her and Lucy. I'll just be nomadic. But it'll be full house craziness.
Yeah.
I wonder where Shay will be. Probably
having diarrhea somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
That's the dog, not a person.
But yeah.
But yeah, it'll be great.
It'll be fun. We're excited. Good to have the band back together.
Yeah, we're excited to be together, to record together. We'll do stuff with Lucy, with Mom, with Will, with Dad, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe we should do them with everyone.
That's so much, but it would be fun.
Like hog the mic.
Or we could just do a panel, like set them all up and we can interview them.
Oh, I like that. I have some ideas for that.
I was sort of kidding, but now I think it'll be fun.
No.
But yeah, I guess this was, as always, a big ramble, but hopefully fun. And we are going to start doing guests.
Yes,
so
we have some stuff in the works.
We have a lot of people actually that did want to talk, which I think is amazing, and we're really excited for that. So
if you're bored of us, which you most likely are,
bored of us,
don't worry, the new blood is coming in.
I think we got the vibe that people were bored of us when nobody joined our live stream.
Yeah,
but like I wouldn't have joined that. I've never joined an Instagram.
We didn't publicize
live.
It well.
Also, like, ew, who does that? Who does Instagram live? That was so gross.
It was your idea.
I know, when I regretted it immediately.
I did it on my real Instagram.
No, I know, it's so embarrassing. It's literally so embarrassing. Like, I can't.
I mean, I don't care anymore.
I can't. Holy shit. Anyway, that's all I got. It's so hot in here.
Yeah,
there's no AC.
All right.
Bye.